Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to continue to talk about adaptations, but we're going to look specifically at the adaptation of bird beaks because it applies directly to the discovery or epiphany that Darwin had about evolution and how he tied it to the bird beaks of the Galapagos, that the bird beaks that were found on one island had to do with the food that was available there. If the bird could eat it, then it survived. If it couldn't, then it had to move on or die. And so I just want to go through some of them and give you an idea of, depending on the shape of it, what kind of job it does for that bird. So again, this is still the teak we are covering, how changes in genetic traits through natural selection, give us the organisms that we see today. They are how they are today because of the genetic traits that they inherited from their parents and ancestors. It says the adaptation of bird beaks to the food that is available. So however it is that a bird looks, it's because that's the food that they have available to eat. If you can't eat what's available, then you're going to move or you're going to die. So the first one is it's called a shredder. We find these in birds of prey like hawks and eagles. The beak is curved because it's used to be able to tear meat off of bones. And let me get this playing. Owls also have this same type of hook. So these are definitely carnivores that are able to tear the meat off of the bone. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there and move on to the next slide, which of course I never am able to do. The next bird beak is called a chisel. Very sharp, very hard beak. We find them in woodpeckers, and they use them to tap or to bore, means like to make a hole into wood. And what they're looking for are insects that are in the wood. So you can imagine the force he's tapping on that. Not only does that beak have to be really hard, but probably his skull and the muscles. We banged our head against something like that. We probably would not fare as well as this woodpecker is. But he's carving out wood, knowing that there are insects. And look at those big chunks he's pulling out. He's carving out wood knowing that there are insects like termites or wood ants, other beetles that live within the tree that he can eat. Seems like a lot of work. See if he has any success. Oh, look, there he is, eating something. So he found something in there. He dug deep enough. And if there's ever been a woodpecker in your house or in your yard, they're really loud. That pecking noise is a really loud noise. But you can see he's tried this other hole, but he must have hit the jackpot there because he is eating and eating. Here's another shot looking inside the hole that he is making. So as you can imagine, woodpeckers can probably damage a tree pretty good, especially if they go deep inside enough and they destroy the xylem what carries water. I imagine it could kill the tree. But again, he must have hit the jackpot there because he looks like he's eating the bugs that he's fighting inside of there. And let's go to the next one. So the next one is a what we would call a strainer type of bird beak. And it's just that we find it like ducks, spoonbills. So they kind of just open their beaks, and they go filling, sort of like pelicans too, filling their mouth with water, and they're capturing small plants and animals, probably like insects, maybe tadpoles, those kind of things. And then they get rid of the water and they keep the solids. The next one is a spear type of beak or bill, and we see this in herons and cranes, and they use it as a spear to spear the fish and pull them out and gobble them. So he speared it, and now he's gonna, I don't know, they go on land to make sure he drops the fish that it doesn't swim away. But you can see the bottom part of his beak is stabbed. Well, the top part too looks, no, the top part is on top. The other one is stabbed through the fish, and that way he was able to capture it. Now he's got to be able to swallow it, which seems like a huge fish for him to swallow. So I'm gonna see if I can move it forward so we can see him get to the point where how he maneuvers it. So maybe he's waiting for it to die and stop struggling. He's bringing it kind of to the land. So he's got to be, so now he's maneuvered it towards his mouth. So it looks like he waited till it died. He's maneuvered it, pointed it in the right direction for him to be able to swallow. But it is a big fish. Oh, there he goes. Slipping right in there. Lord. So he got a nice lunch there. But definitely use that beak to, as they said, spear the fish. And looks like he waited for it to die before he attempted to get him to go into his mouth. And then the last one down here is a crow, and they call this type of beak a Swiss Army knife. A Swiss Army knife is one of those little knives, and I'll show you a picture in a little bit. They can do anything. Crows are probably one of the smartest birds out there, and with the beak, kind of an all-purpose beak, they can pretty much do anything with their beaks. Let's watch. So he's using his beak to use that blade of grass as a tool. And when some kind of insect stuck on it, he pulled it up and ate it. So he's used a tool. Look how clever that is. Okay, I know at my house, crows will come take kibbles of dry dog food, and then they'll go over to the dog bucket and they'll soak it so it'll get soft so they can eat it. So in my last picture here, I added kind of what it represents. So these curved type of beaks are for shredding and tearing meat. And so like a shredder tears it up, that's what their beak does. A woodpecker is a chisel. It can carve out wood and they can grab those insects out of there. The duck and spoonbills, they strain it and then they get the food that's there, and that's what they're going to swallow and eat. The herons and cranes use their beaks as spears to stab the fish and capture them, and then they're able to swallow them. And then crows, as I said, they will eat pretty much everything, and so their beaks are all-purpose, a Swiss Army knife of beaks. So in conclusion, if a bird was born with a beak that could eat the type of food that was available on the island, then the bird survived. That's what we saw in the Galapagos. If a bird is born with a beak that cannot eat the food on an island, or really in any environment, in its environment, it's either going to have to move away or it's going to die. And so we saw that in the Galapagos. We had some birds that had these really big beaks that they can break open these large seeds. We have some birds that a little longer, they can eat the flowers, so they can work their way in between like the spines and stuff and eat the flower and eat the fruit of the cactus. We have this other one. These were like the little birds that ate that plant that grew everywhere. They eat the little buds that have the seeds, smaller seeds that they can break open a lot, unlike this one. It's a bigger one. And then there are some like the woodpecker that, again, they're either carving into the trees to get these animals out, or they will sometimes even use a tool like the crow did to fish. The insect will start crawling on there and they'll pull it out and they'll eat it from where it was hiding. So we can see that this is true whether you're in the Galapagos or you're at Garza Park. There are going to be birds that live where they live because the type of a beak they have affords them the ability to eat there. We're not going to have every type of bird living at Garza Park because there's not all the opportunities. There's sometimes some herons around here, but there's not really fish in the waters and the creeks and stuff here. So they may stop for water, but they're not stopping to eat. There are hawks and peregrines and other smaller like eagle type. There's even owls sometimes in this area because there are rodents and stuff that they can catch and eat. So again, the type of beak a bird has is because it's the type of food that is available and they can continue to live. So just some reminders of some things you have to get done today. There is an exit question. If you haven't done the common assessment number 6, you need to get on it. There was always the butterfly and fish labs. You need to get on it. And the intervention that will help you bring up this grade is there, and you can still do it. So get your work done, people, because it's due by Wednesday. By Wednesday, that's when I'll update all the grades, and those will be the grades that you'll see on your progress report. Alrighty, that is all I have. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.